My name's Duddits, I do builds and stuff. If you didn't already know, Trace Rifles have got a new seasonal artifact pack that increases the damage, and this build is going to take a full advantage of that with Ager's Scepter. It's a Prismatic Hunter build that's got loads and loads of survivability, loads and loads of damage, and the constant cycle between freezing and doing damage is really nice. There's loads of different elements to the build, including the damage, like I mentioned, survivability, some shattering stasis crystals, and on top of that, one of the things I really wanted to focus on was getting the most out of Ager's Scepter with loads of super energy so we can use that laser beam. So stay with me, I'll break it down. So we will start off with the Ager's Scepter. Ager's Call, final blows with this weapon generate a slowing burst around the target, so it constantly freezes, and it's also got Ager's Refrain, stasis final blows, transfer ammo to this weapon's magazine from the reserves. It's also got a catalyst on there. This is more of a focus later on, but I'll just say what it does. You hold your reload button to drain it. Once your super energy is full, it overflows the magazine, empowering the line beam with bonus damage. It's 80% damage increase. It slows and freezes the target. Pair that up with a harsh refraction. So this is going to be the main sort of start to this video. We need to break this down. Trace Rifles do more damage to targets afflicted by elemental debuffs, matching their element type. Obviously we're on stasis super, which we will go into, but I just want to go this damage increase 1601, and then once you hit them with something that freezes or slows, you are going to activate that debuff, which is a stasis debuff. You'll see it goes to 2160. That's a 35% damage increase. Now, to take advantage of the harsh refraction, it states Trace Rifles do more damage to targets afflicted by elemental debuffs. Withering Blade applies slow, and the Dustfield Grenade also applies slow and freeze. They're the two stasis debuffs you need to get the most out of that seasonal artifact pack. It all just fits perfectly with Ager's because you are consistently slowing and freezing with your melees. You've got loads of them. You've got your Dustfield Grenade, and you've also got your Ager's Scepter that also freezes when you kill a target. It will freeze the targets nearby. So you've always got that minimum of 35% damage increase from the harsh refraction, and that's without surges. You can obviously run surges as well, but you'll just see in this clip here, it will literally freeze targets around the area, so it always procs that harsh refraction. Now, Mask of Fealty is just an absolutely insane exotic to run on a hunter. Withering Blade hits and bounces create small stasis crystal and refund a portion of melee energy. Using Withering Blade to shatter crystals or frozen targets releases a spread of Withering Blades. So you basically got an icy fanfare built in, and this will just create crystals like so, slowing more targets and also a bit of extra shatter damage. And don't forget your Ager's also freezes as well, so you can use your melee to shatter as well if you want to save a bit of ammo on your Ager's, for example. But just more freezing, and the whole cycle of proccing that harsh refraction via the stasis debuffs, it all just flows and recycles with each other. So freeze for damage and you're good to go. Literal freeze for days. And now the catalyst, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, once you've got your super, basically if you hold your reload button, this turns Ager's Scepter into a super laser. Basically it gives you 80% extra damage and it slows and freezes. So whilst you're getting the 80% damage, you're also getting that 35% from the harsh refraction seasonal artifact pack, because it slows and freezes as well, and the damage output is very nice. And on the Prismatic supers, the Silence and Squall, you do get that back quite a lot, and you may as well consume that, but you can actually use that as well to proc the debuffs as well, which we'll go into. It's not like the most insane damage super, so it's quite a good trade out in my opinion, although you can actually keep it and use it as well, which I'll show you later on in the video. So you've literally got infinite debuff going on all of the time, freeze and slowing, whichever way you look at it, and plus you've got your Mask of Fealty for infinite freezing, infinite shattering and crystals along the way for extra damage. The whole thing just fits perfectly together. And then also I've got some other things to show you about how to get supers fast with this build as well. So we've got more sort of usage of the ice laser from Ager's Scepter, and it puts out quite a lot of damage once you've got that harsh refraction going. I tried it in the GM and it was very good. The downside to it is Ager's Scepter does have a lot of damage drop off. So in certain GMs, maybe like this one, there's certain areas where you had to stay back a little bit, but you can still look at that. It just absolutely wrecks once you got them debuffs going. And this is the other thing as well, you don't have to actually consume your super, you can actually throw it, and that will still apply the debuff anyway from your Silence and Squall, so that gives you that debuff as well. The Harsh Refraction, that extra damage, the Seasonal Artifact perk. So there's a couple of ways you can use it, either consume your super, or you can literally just throw it. Now, where I said it struggles at range, at close distances, it really dominates, and it makes things very easy because you are consistently slowing and freezing stuff. Like I said, at range, it's not the best because the damage drop-off is quite harsh, but anything sort of mid-range to close range, and you take full total control. I have got another couple of clips to show you of it dominating this GM in a moment, but I'm just going to quickly go over my sort of fragments and aspects again. So Winter's Shroud, dodging slows nearby targets. This one also procs your Harsh Refraction, so there's another option for you, as well as your Withering Blade and your Dust Field. We've got Stylish Executioner. This is just an absolute monster of an aspect to run for this build, because we're constantly debuffing, we will be infinitely invisible. Really good. Facet of Protection, I'll literally run that on most of my builds. It's just too good not to have. Just the extra damage reduction when you are surrounded. And then Facet of Defiance, finishers create a detonation that slows because we're on the Stasis subclass. So there's another way of proccing that, and it will proc your invisibility. Facet of Hope, while you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. Infinite dodges, pretty much, really good. And then Facet of Balance, light kills grab melee energy, darkness kills grenade energy. You're going to get loads of darkness kills, obviously, from your Agers and your Withering Blades and your Mask of Fealty, so you got literal infinite Dust Field grenades. And then Facet of Ruin, to increase the size and the damage of the Stasis Shatter Crystals. My mods, I'll leave them playing out, pretty straightforward. Just a couple of Stasis Surges, Stasis Scabs, things like that, but I'll leave a dim link for that. Now, what I want to do is just focus on the super returns and how we can get the most out of this Stasis Laser Beam to get max damage as well. So basically, there's a couple of other seasonal artifact perks that really buff this build out, so you get some really good super energy. Now, bearing in mind, we've got Overload Trace Rifles, which exhaust. We've got Elemental Siphon, where rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super creates an elemental pickup. Then the boosted version of that, when you pick that up, you're going to get increased super energy. Now, the exhaust disruption part is really important because Elemental Supercharger kicks in, defeating exhausted or severed targets. With weapons that match your super element, i.e. Stasis and Stasis, it's going to give you loads of super energy for your Silence and Squall. And then obviously what you can do with that Silence and Squall is you can either throw it to proc your Harsh Refraction, or you can keep it. And if you just look at this clip here, sorry, you can keep it for your Ager Scepter and consume it that way. But if you look at this clip here, I was on like, I had a little bit of my super back, but I think I got my super. I was getting my super back in these situations here in like a minute, which was really good, which again, then you can sort of pick and choose what you want to do with your super. But I do get my super in about a minute, just in this little area here, around about a minute, something like that. But the total control, what I was talking about earlier on, of the sort of close quarters, mid to close range, it is so good. You've got the Mask of Fealty, fanfires going off everywhere, shattering Stasis Crystals. You got your Prismatics kicking as well, just to stick to walls or whatever you want to do with them, your grenade. And infinite melees when you've got that Prismatic proc as well. You'll see there, my super bar, I think it was about 55 seconds I got my super or something like that, I'm pretty sure. And you can just sort of like throw it to slow down, or you can consume it for your laser beam on your Ager Scepter. But that is the video. I will leave a dim link, and I'll also leave a Mobalytics link as well. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.